Hello. I'm not gonna do it now. We'll just if people roll on by, they roll on by. Keep it relaxed in here. These here, extremely work in progress Holotables. Why not? Yeah. Made some solid progress since last time. There's still some more stuff to tackle. I mean, I also set up OBS a little bit better. Also, I worked on my audio a little bit. I think it's actually going to be a lot better. I actually kind of want to make the noise filter a little bit more aggressive, but like breathing sound should be gone. Feeling pretty good about the direction of all of that business. I think the last thing that we need to do is a good old-fashioned compressor, just so that the quiet songs are going to get brought up and the rowdy songs are going to get put in their place. But yeah, I guess a little status update from last GAC stream. I did end up winning that. Yeah, Luke defense plus Ray defense. Yeah, call it somewhat suicidal, posting Luke against Kylo, and I say fair enough. That certainly is true, but it did get me the win. What's up, Sam? It might just me being a perfectionist. It's just, and some of the VODs that I went back and listened to, it just sounded a bit rough to me. Ooh, this looks a little bit loud. It's really, really hard to tell. I was talking with Clash about this in his streams last night. You really have no way of knowing. I think in professional environments, they'll like actually have their voice filtering through their headphones so you can hear the entire mix, which, you know, I assume you train to do that, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and that makes sense. It is extremely hard to talk while hearing yourself. It legit just scrambles your brain in a way that's like actually kind of... It's a very freaky feeling if you've never experienced it before. It actually just sort of short circuits your brain, and it's just hard to actually like remember how to put words together. So yeah, I think the thing I really just need to do is just go in and make sure that I do some local recordings beforehand, just listen to how it sounds. And again, part of it was because I'm back on normal OBS again, which makes some stuff a little bit harder, but it just means I have to redo some settings. But yeah, so most of this, I haven't really poked at this too much since the last stream, but I tweaked some stuff around a little bit. This, I set up the walls to more closely reflect the final product. I mean, so you essentially have this getting angled in this way, this gets angled out a bit here, and then this would snap over here and then come back in like this. But just, at least the way I would tackle this process, I'm going to do that last. So, I think today is going to be more on the small end, although it is... This table right here is an oddity, because this is very much going to be in the camera shot. I don't know that it really matters. Again, I would be perfectly content to just like grab this table and stick it there, because all it's really you need to do is just fill space, right? You just need to be populated. I don't know if I really need to go for hyper-realism here, for something that's not even going to be in the focus of the camera. But also tend to be a perfectionist with a lot of this stuff, and yeah, there's old me definitely would be like, no, it has to match, it has to, cannot do it. Is this going to serve some purpose, or is it just for fun? Oh, do I even have it up right now? Actually, it might not. So the purpose of this is as a background for the next video series that I'm doing. I mean, it's like, if you say serving a purpose, is it like, obviously, you know, this is CG's copyright. I'm not actually like sticking this in a game or anything, but this will be on the channel for the next major series, which is all about Grand Arena strategy, placement tactics, reading your opponent. Pretty much all of the meat and potatoes for this game that I really wanted to cover. I would say a long time coming, although ironically, what I would consider to be the golden era for this style of gameplay right now has kind of passed. I think it's actually coming back again, but it's only coming back if like you've knocked out all of the major projects that CG has available right now. Of like, if you have double GL and Vader and Jedi Luke, then I think it's a fairly nice feeling meta. That's also an extremely rare position. I don't like that's not gonna fly for most people, but like, you know, the perfect example of this is when you could comfortably, reliably post Darth Revan. Oh, sorry. This is now blocking this out. Actually, yeah. I'm assuming not a whole lot of people have actually seen this yet compared to some of the reach on the channel. This is what it's all for. We have a GAC table with... Sorry, let me hide some of this junk. Yeah. It's a fully fledged, fully animated table. Some of this looks a little bit weird because the stuff didn't actually load in. I can just hop this just to get everything cooperating a little bit. But yeah. In production, this is what's called the hero piece. This is what the camera is going to be up and on and in. So this whole other side of things basically just boiled down to me realizing, like, well, originally it was just this. Just kind of floating in black space, which, like, it isn't bad, but specifically because of some of the shots that I have planned out, I think it just doesn't, like, if you're just down and in it, you can probably get away with it. And like, even the hope was just, I basically just took a bar as a nondescript blurry background and was just hoping for it to be passable. No matter how much you blur, I think it's still, you know, your brain has pretty good shape recognition. I think it just reads as what it is too well, especially like you hit this and it's like, okay, that's... And like you see the bar stools and stuff, it's like, yeah, that's not really... I would almost say fooling anyone, but just... It's not really doing a trick. So, what else to do than just decide to model the entire rest of the room just to make a background instead? Which, this is actually the stuff that I'm most experienced at, or at least the modeling part of it is. So, I'm able to whip stuff together fairly quickly, I would say. I mean, then again, like, you know, this is the full image here. And, like, we have a lot of pretty basic shapes to work with. You know, this isn't exactly some crazy high model, or high poly modeling to try to emulate here. But yeah, I mean, we've got most of the basics. It's very much in, like, modular form right now. So, like, you know, this piece is this table up front. We just grab this, get it across, grab this, set pivot, right, and then that's like your front and center table. And this is like your here, here. Kind of the most common one, and even like the top of this is just this, right? Technically some differences actually, like you've got corners without the panels, I guess a little bit of a difference, and like you have this off to the left. It actually wouldn't even take that long technically to do this. Actually, the hardest part would actually just be... I don't even know if there's... You know what? Fine. Good ol'... So what we could technically just do here, right? Ooh, actually... I'm feeling particularly lazy. I'm so glad I kept a copy of this. Oh, I'm so glad I kept a copy of this. Although this is actually somewhat of a different shape. It's like sharper upwards. Like a lot sharper upwards, but we can work with that. Let's just wanna... It's like a down and in. The way that this alone isn't really going to do the trick either. We also have to just... Okay, new plan. I feel like there's got to be a better way to do this, but just... My brain isn't really thinking ideally right now. I mean, functionally speaking, all we really have to do, I guess we might as well just keep this all relative. Bring this in, push this down. The OCD part of me is less than thrilled that we didn't actually calculate or like snap this in a way that this is going to be like equally distant, like both directions. We actually can just do that this way, I guess. Oh god, now that I have Unreal up, I actually can't see chat. Oh yeah, sorry, Dave. Not for like a private server or anything. Just trying to add some production value to the GAC stream. That's it, really. Which I'm very excited about this, so I think, you know, this is kind of my wheelhouse, or at least I'm pretty trained as a modeler, so I feel like the rest kind of just falls into place. So, I mean, if it can kind of add some pizzazz to some videos, I figure, absolutely, why not try to add some extra fun stuff. I mean, you know, that's kind of what, I mean, it wasn't the point of GG301, but I think that's kind of what, part of what got the video noticed in the first place, and then I started to worry a lot more about just like, you know, all that matters is gotta get the videos out, gotta get a video done. And it's like, yes, but also I had been working on this table for a little bit and never actually like finishing it. Back in like February, actually. God, what's the timestamp on this table? This table is pre-corona. I'm almost scared to see, because seeing this is just admitting, yeah, late February, early March. So, sat in stasis for a good 3.5 to 4 months. And honestly, I actually would say I really attribute it to installing productivity blockers for Reddit and those types of websites. Reddit, Twitter, all that stuff. Especially once Corona started, it's just so horrifyingly easy to melt away entire days just sitting and refreshing. Not even thinking about it sometimes, but it doesn't exactly help make an excuse for it either. Like, given a choice, would I rather have browsed Reddit or gotten this done? Think. It's a very easy no contest choice. Going about this shape a weird way. I don't know. This almost might have been cleaner to just remake from scratch, but I think it should be fairly normalized now. We've got this little indent, actually, so we could... I mean, technically, we actually could just push this up instead. About this tall? I guess the biggest flaw with doing this... that's actually... a little bit rough. So we have, like, this panel is still roughly the same, but I guess we're just gonna have to re... Weird. This angle really doesn't do a whole lot for giving me an idea of how it sits in with anything or relates to anything. Like, from this angle, it actually just looks like completely embedded within, but, like, we know what the panels look like elsewhere. We know that they, like, stick out, so the fact that this has a sharper wall actually just makes this perspective make pretty much no sense. I mean, practically speaking, I think it's just going towards the camera, but... And not in the mood for... song. Good song, not in the mood for the preachiness. I'm starting to think this table's gonna end up being more hassle than it's worth. Or, again, I don't think accuracy matters a ton here, so let's just make life a little bit easy. Again, I think old me, college me, would care about hyper accuracy above all else, and current me is just we got to get it out the door. I think at the end of the day, that's all most people care about, is a thing relatively well made well enough, not sloppy, but there's a point of diminishing return, I think, on polish. I guess the one weird thing is, like, back here, this technically isn't here, I doubt. But also, it's hidden enough from the camera, I don't even think it's doing harm by being. Now, all we're really doing is let's just grab this base, merge it, which kind of just hijack this, I think, for our own purposes. I think it's gonna be a little bit awkward is it seems like the lip is pretty much flush with the angling on the table, which this extremely is. We can kind of fudge that, actually. Okay. I'm thinking let's just... It also doesn't help that technically we're lower probably on the outer curve than the inner curve. At least we do have a centerpiece to work off of. I don't know why it's being a bit finicky. Okay. Didn't pick the exact same pattern. And actually we could just cut the extra face if needed. I don't think the definition is actually that important. We actually probably just need these here. I think that's probably good enough. Okay. Let's take this into this. We'll probably just pop this out a little bit. I think that seems about right. Technically, these to make sure that they're page. Not gonna be weird. We can actually probably just. It's weird because technically, okay, we can just cut it along these lines. Whoa, hey, just in there. We can't do this into quads. We basically just have to cut this down the middle because this. We can cut it this direction, not this direction. So essentially, down here looks like we're just all the way out here. Although, actually, I think since this is separate from this top piece right now, and this is just kind of sitting on top, we can actually probably get away with doing a quad duplicate, I think. Actually, let's spend a little more time this. Also, I guess get rid of this interior because this top is just going to be completely brought together, I think. Kind of one central place. These faces are all completely inverted. That's not... Not sure. Okay. Yeah. Doesn't actually technically matter. We can just make it this way. Yeah, it's fine. Technically, all we have to do this. Let me just see this as it relates. Pull this. It looks like it's pretty much straight down the middle, actually. So I wonder if, technically speaking, we actually could just drag this to the edge and then... Ooh, what is... Weird. I'm not sure why they got... This is getting into a grander conspiracy here. How deep does this go? No? Weird. Okay. But yeah, I think this, maybe even just pull it a little bit off from the table before doing it. Put it back on the edge, not the right direction. See, this looks almost a little bit too deep, actually. So maybe it's not a full 50. Actually, let's hedge. Think about there, push that on, bring that out. This should be about what we want. God, this floor is simultaneously extremely necessary and also just constantly in the way. Should probably score enough. Alright, pop this on top. Got like a square indent, so actually this could have been executed a little bit better. We can kind of cheat it back in, I think. I'm not really liking what this is gonna do in a lot of cases, but maybe. What? We need to take this solo. Alright, sure. I'm happy with that. That's fine. So relax the long triangles from the edges a little bit. Actually, we need a center point before we drag this along. Let's grab this, bring it back out. I think we're actually kind of setting up the dimensions for the screen a little bit by doing this, although this is actually pushing out, like, this is kind of just rounded in, so actually, okay, actually maybe a second plan here instead. I think we just get rid of this top. Just as it relates to the initial creation. Just gonna take all of this and go there. I don't want to have to do this by dragging it in. Google Translate is just generally cleaner, but this happens sometimes, which is unfortunate. Like, we can just do this as well, but it just, you know, because of how the scaling works, like, you'll see this is thicker than this. It's just not as clean. You can do some manual cleanup, but just, I wonder, is there a better way to go about this? Okay, let's fake this, actually. Let's make a copy. Let's grab this ring. Delete everything else. Connect these. Bring this together, and I think this should just give us a clean. Yeah. You have to do a little bit of cleanup here, but it's so much simpler than dealing with the other mess. I guess the most annoying part is actually this. Because this sort of tapering just applies to this in its entirety, we actually have to do a little bit of countermeasuring, but very, very simple. Let's take this. These are extremely easy to do. We just straighten them based on your point. And then for this, all we have to do is just snap this to comparison. There we go. It's about as uniform as you can hope for. And from this point, we can just delete the original ring, bring this back into the original. Technically, we're missing a vert. It's a little bit awkward, but it's here. Just reunify that. Okay. Sure. Now we have the basis for exact same thing again a couple more times, it looks like. Alright, this doesn't look as pronounced. Doesn't look as emphasized vertically as well. The only thing I hate about these types of extrudes is getting in under here and making sure. Alright, we've got a little bit of a dip up and then a little bit of a dip down, and then we just have our mid area. And technically speaking, all you really have to do to unify it is just this. Not exactly the best way to go about it, but at least gets the job done fairly quickly right now. I almost say this feels a little bit under done, but then you look at the original, it's really not like, I would almost say that we went even lower than the original did, which sometimes is fine. Like, I think you just want it a bit over exaggerated for readability emphasis, but and even this lip feels a little bit like a tiny bit higher than it would normally be. Yeah. I guess there's like a panel here that we could do whatever this screen that also happens to be off. Very, very simple. Yeah. Sure, why not? Let's just if you look at the positioning, kind of a tapered shape, and also kind of looks like it's actually extremely hard to tell what's going on in this here whole region. I mean, the screen itself isn't going to be that difficult to set up. It's more just like, maybe we don't even need to worry about how it attaches to the table. Again, this is just being modeled for the camera. The camera is in no way going to get even remotely close to this table for that to be a concern. Holistically speaking, I would prefer it to be modeled in a way that makes sense and is justified. But also, I like making videos that are done. And give me. I think we went a little bit too much on this. Let's just cut our losses. And push it into the table a little bit. Top is we've got. You can kind of see here. Push in, and then there's a little bit of a hint of flattening out. So I respect it. Let's bring this down. I think we're actually a little bit too thick on the shape here. Grab this, push this in. I still think it's pushed out a bit too much, actually. I hate how imprecise this is. It's not a normal way to do this, but I would almost rather just... Feels like it's this. Like this is actually almost a little bit too wide still, but... It really does feel like it's just a little bit too pronounced, so... just grab the corner and try to preserve the angle along the way, so it's like a fractional subtract. Just try that on for size. Still feels like... I think it's partially because we're bringing it up as we're bringing it in. I think just this lengthwise we're getting closer, so I guess one last time we'll taper it yet again. I think that's about all it needs to be. I actually feel like this screen is actually too deep. Let's just go ahead and that. You could still go less. I think that this is exaggerated enough beyond the reference without being like KU, basically. So yeah, I don't mind that. We still haven't tackled this thing, this piece of horror. I still think this is either going to be... like, honestly, the ideal cheat would just be to get this shape and then just face this toward the camera so you don't have to look at this whole, like, organic... like, hard metal into organic blend. That's going to be just a huge pain to actually, like, get looking good. At least for my experience of what I've tackled before. Like... more organic metal shapes are actually like really, really tricky. Weird. Alright. I guess if we're gonna tackle it, the best way is gonna have to be doing this whole weird sort of performative song and dance. Let's just get rid of everything almost. Let's just start with this. We'll just zoom in on this. Take a good hard look at our lives. I got some ideas. I actually need some extra slack here, actually. Just gonna completely center this on the world. Let's probably blow it up. Boom. So this isn't a perfect circle, and it's not even like a perfect circle that's stretched. We basically... well, the easiest way to do this is actually probably just gonna be just pushing and pulling verts, which not exactly my idea of a fun time or a precise way to do this, but man, it's gotta happen. Like, it really kind of just... you've got this whole, like, very downward shape. Like, there really isn't this whole curve, it's just... it's a really, really weird distribution. Like, the more I look at this, the less I understand it feels like. This is almost more like a... we got that, but then you pull this because it needs to be a little bit more like that. What a weird thing this is. I think this has to just naturally be, like, you don't have much of, like, a right side of a circle. It just kind of, like, goes from ascending to ascending. And here, it's... you do get a curve, but it's, like, very much near the top here. And the rest of it is just, like, a very gradual... rise up. Doesn't feel like a slam dunk, but I feel like this last one really just needs to flatten out, not completely, but just enough to be uninteresting. Kind of my read on it. Alright, I'm almost terrified to, like, actually do the thing just to see where we're at. And we need this to be centered. Extremely not. Right, so for this general slant, I guess the ideal I'm looking for here is, like, just grabbing this. Hoping that it does something that starts to resemble that, but then also we're in this weird case of we're only really, like, doing this outer lip right now, because, like, then you get the rest of the object and it all starts to taper and go in. It's just a headache. We're not, like, pushing the top up enough, actually. I think maybe, first off, let's give ourselves a little bit more remaining slack, and probably just push on that a little bit. Well, you... I mean... Okay. So what if... well, we could do this by hand, but again, this is such a pain to do by hand. I don't know that we can really just automate this in a way that's gonna feel great either. I think we could... I just think I'll bring this back out a little bit, then over, push us to create a bend. It's not really feeling good or happy about this whole starting and ending angle. Which, like, if you look at this, technically speaking, this shouldn't even be like a vertical angle. This should actually just be like kind of opposing, which actually just makes tackling this even more difficult in a way that's like gonna justify our work with the shape at all. To be like more of like that, which, yeah, not particularly on board with or thrilled about, but try to make it work, I guess. Yeah, like full extension without any like major issues cropping up. That's about all the extension we're getting. It's like, oh yeah, really just emphasizing the roundness here. You can really, well, I guess technically speaking, we are kind of supposed to be broaching like this territory, like that territory, in like a pretty major way. Like really more sort of like that. So, let's. This is not going to be ideal or good. Yeah. And yet, all we're talking about is the camera direction facing. I am almost willing to just say, like, good enough. All that really matters here, technically, is this. So, like, this is almost too sharp, too. Like, the pipe is really, technically, supposed to be, like, in here, which is part of why doing this whole sort of blend is so difficult, because, like, if you actually, like, look at this, it's, like, starting here, ending here, and you have this whole sort of like weirdly joined and meshed. It's just a pain. Honestly, I'm almost content to just do exactly that. I'm shameless, the shape is hard. The world will never know. Don't tell anybody. Okay. And the wood is really thick as well. That's too much, but any less and it's gonna like really have some weird issues with clipping along the top, which actually would be fairly visible. Like, it's not good, don't get me wrong. But also, who does that hurt here, actually? Victimless crime. I mean, it's not ideal, or good, or well made, or well executed, but it sure does sit there stationary in the background for someone to, like, at most mildly glance at. So I'm just gonna say it's doing its best here. Height-wise, we're kind of like at the top of the shelf. Scale-wise, almost looks like it needs to be a bit bigger. I do this interior ring. I think we need to just kind of unify this. Oh god, what? Oh god, the fuck rotated it. Just give me. There we go. Let's run that back one more time. Still some weirdness on the base orientation out here. But yeah, so ideally speaking, I actually don't even want that. We kind of just want this. Ideally. Oh, we would just grab these edges and bevel. That's kind of the whole story. Not a fan of this whole deal. Which I know it's partly just at fault of how I made the original thing, but let's grab this bad boy. Really just making this thing in the most ramshackle way possible, which, you know what? I'm kind of just here for it. Not really doing what I was hoping for either. Let's try separating these, because that's doing anyway. This really isn't that thick at all. Okay, so I think we need to reverse this. Wait, why does it have the full thickness this time? Why was it not before? Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit confused of why it just suddenly started behaving there. But you know what? That's okay. A job well done. And we just have these very basic vents in here. Yeah, really kind of sloppy with the whole edge facing here. Not gonna work. Grab these, push it in, bit of detailing depth. I think you could do a lot worse than that. Maybe a bit too extra on the slants here. This is much more faithful in terms of positioning and how it would have had to have been blended. That's more of like a ZBrush task. So let's just gratuitously do a bit of bakery, shall we? Ideally, the cut just needs to like start within the thickness, but also satisfy not really showing itself. I think that's probably... God, this curve is gonna be so annoying to actually like try to... Okay, this actually might just have to be a boolean, which probably also should have just been the answer all along to begin with, but no. We actually kind of just need to like... there's some native restless natives in here. This is not good, Geo, at all. Good lord, that extrusion just did a whole lot of damage here. It's actually not that bad. You can kind of just budge it a bit, I think. Grab both of these. Okay, let's say we trip and fall and accidentally grab all of these faces and then just, you know, what if? Let's say, actually, does it even... I think technically it needs to be like that. Does it technically just mean we want it to be that? Sure, this is not going to be a good looking mesh, but you know what? We are results driven right now. That's pretty alright. Oh no. I actually really wouldn't mind just same patch up for this. Sure. I mean, this interior, like this theoretical hole, isn't actually exposed to the front, so as this is probably the most ramshackle mesh I've ever actually put together. Like this is wait. Oh. This is probably the worst mesh I've ever actually made. But again, it actually does what it needs to do. I would say very admirably. Probably pump it up a little bit. It's about as thick, if not a little bit thicker than this, so we'll scale that to match. It's almost a bit too thick, it feels like. It doesn't really matter if it clips into the wall. Again, camera facing here. I actually do think we blew it up a little bit too much, though. Let's be a bit more measured and reasonable here. Back with shelf appropriately. I don't know. Right. I mean, I guess the connect would be a little bit more related, but God, the pivot circle is so painfully skewed now. Fine, just face a little bit that way, but make sure it's a little bit too much. The camera can start to see our sins. We don't want that. Accuracy be damned. We hide our worst selves. Sure. For being the most annoying piece in the scene to tackle, that feels like a compromise. Although this. I really wish I didn't rosette it now. Right. Just gonna have to do this a bit live. Too deep here. Kind of want some lip tint now, actually. Damn. Shit out of said lip. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna hit save. Sure. The nightmare piece has been ended. There is the matter of this whole weird deal, which I'm not sure what's up with it necessarily. We can just... God, how do you rotate it? There's so many hotkey. Oh, got it on the first try, actually. Okay, I think we can kind of like... I just want it rotated. I did degrees to the left, please. Ugh. Okay, we got it. All right, right. You can kind of break this down. I think I should pretty cleanly divided into quads as well. So it's just gonna immediately start off with that, and that, and we're in pretty good starting shape. Let's just do some damage. Alright, this I think is gonna be, oops. Got a little bit of this. I wanna snap this in here, a little bit of this. I don't think this is actually, it could just be because, you know, low poly game, very old scene, built for a lot younger phones and old Unity, which doesn't tank. But I'm kind of getting a little bit of a rounded read here. I don't think it's like too dramatic. I don't think it's just completely straight either. A little bit hard to tell. Let's maybe get a little bit of a curve going here. Oh, it's on ProForce. Sorry. I figured out where the hidden pictures are going yet. Oh, so I haven't actually done any camera positioning in the scene. All of the actual, like, shot framing is in this already. Which I actually pretty much completely finished blocking out the shots. The only thing that's still a bit up in the air, I think this is partly why I'm tackling this first. By the way, holy shit, the flags are actually in-engine animating with the textures on them. So there are only 4 flags in the GA banner, so the original GA banner is actually really kind of boring. It's just like, well, it's different, right? You look at it in the main menu and it's like, alright, blue lightsaber, red lightsaber. You go in, okay, blue dot, weird. That's not even in here. My idea was, what if you take, you know, this, then ideally this, put them on the flags, kind of get them colored after each rank. It's not actually, it's like a really weird color spread. Kinda, right, you got black, bronze, silver, gold, which, like, thematically, that's actually pretty standard for most ranks, right? Like, if you look at, like, the League of Legends orders, which there's actually a lot more ranks in League, but, like, you know, fairly standard. Platinum is handled a little bit weirdly in this game, in my opinion. Or I guess there isn't actually technically platinum. You just jump from gold to this is technically diamond. I don't know. The color spread. So, like, my thinking was we've got Kyber there. Right? Kind of central on the board, which is how it is in the actual game. So, like, I don't know. But at the same time, like, for the representation of Grand Arena, I don't know that, like, does Carbonite really need to be represented here? Actually, one of my ideas was just to, like, do I even have it open? Pop it up. Where is it? My thinking was I could just have, like, some sort of blue glowing growing effect, kind of like spidering through it and then lighting up a Kyber symbol in the middle. I don't think that plays for what this intro video is going to be. Carbonite is important. Technically true. You are correct, actually. Technically, absolutely correct. But yeah, something. Would the representation normally be divisions and not rank? But how do you tackle numbers, though, right? That's kind of the question, in my opinion. I mean, my literal actual thought process with this was basically just gonna be... God, it actually feels so crazy to me that, like, this is now just a part of a scene and not just this. I'm so used to just staring at this. But pretty much just, like, copy-paste this onto here and actually, like, kind of just, like, make, like, a... It's fast enough, I should just do it to demonstrate. Kind of like... It doesn't look great, but... Something kind of along the lines of that, and then just like punch this in the middle. But again, this, like, it's not even a focal point. Like, it's not... It basically just starts off on the flags, and then you head on down the table, which I have not gotten this transition down at all, either. I think it needs to be a lot slower, but... God, I spend way much more time on these flags, like the physics of these flags, than I'd like to admit. It's actually really, really hard to get, like, flag physics that did what I want, because I want them, like, not flailing, which was extremely easy to get. Don't get it twisted for a second. Actually, if I just go pop open one of the old ones, yeah, get rid of that. I don't think it would look good, necessarily. Just go to, like, GA logo. Let's just go to, like... Actually, we go back in so we can get one of the middle ones. But yeah, I mean... It's kind of a close-up on the panel, nothing too fast. It's not going to be like the craziest, highest detail thing, but then table lights up. Got a couple of further out shots, and then this part's going to be probably the most work, is actually figuring out, like, what... Like, this is going to be the section where I actually hit, like, hey, this is what we're talking about, this is what we're addressing. I had the idea to flicker in teams, but, dude, I feel like the moment I start mentioning any sort of teams, it just immediately dates the video, which I actually kind of countered myself by saying that, like, it's just as likely going to be that GAC as a mode changes before, like, the meta significantly changes. That would kind of outdate some of my stuff, potentially. But still, I had the idea that, like, I could just do, like, all of the popular prominent characters, like, flickering up across the board and a bit of text, like, singing up above of, like, planning, strategy, and I have it all in a document. I'm not remembering much of it right now. But just kind of, like, hitting the points of, like, what we're going to be talking about. I envisioned this as, like, a coming soon video, but if this is going to be the top of the playlist for actual Grand Arena 101, I don't think that actually reads, which... I don't know. We'll see. I guess coming soon videos for Galaxy Heroes Guide seems so fucking pretentious. But also, I don't think anyone else does that. I honestly mostly just want to do it because I think it's fun to make trailers. I think it's almost more fun to make trailers and, like, sync shots to music than it is to make actual videos. I'm more just doing it for me, but I think it'll be cool. What are we doing? What am I waiting for? Oh. You. Let me go to the forbidden place. Yeah. Let's boot up some horrible physics here. I think this should be bad. Might have to go back one other. I'm seeing some constraints here that might be too good. The power might be too constrained already. Can only hope. Yeah, we'd already mastered them by this point. Let's go back one. God, why are these all done correctly? Where's the jank? Actually, based on these dates, I think we actually were correct originally. We do have to just... Gotta go in. 006. Or it's time. Yeah, I'm content with this. This one alright. All things considered. Alright. This. Yeah, we got no constrainers. I actually don't. This should be hooked up to Flail, I think. Maybe it was 007 all along. Why are they all behaving correctly? This is not how I had planned it. Get out of here. That is a date jump right there. That's how far back I've been poking at this. We got a solid from February 2020 to May 2019. Ye oldie. The old best intentions. God, why did we pump this up so big? Okay. Just thinking real hard. No? Alright, I give up. It's enough attempts. Anyway, it would just sway back and forth and like bump into each other. It was ridiculous. It was horrible. And I tried to do it in an engine and they would just... I don't know. It's really weird to think about how wind would actually like physically hit banners, I guess. Which, fair enough, but also... I mean, it's like a stylistic thing, right? Because, like, you look at the CG thing. Oh, we don't even have friends, arena, ships. Right, like, look at this. It's got some basic side-to-side sway. And to me, I think that's a little bit... Like, they're doing it for a mobile game. You know, assuming that the game would actually be rendering the flags. It's like, it's a fine solution for them. But I wanted a little bit more. I wanted some, like, you know... You gotta wiggle. Gotta wiggle. So, yeah, I'm fine with the solution. It's actually a really, really archaic technique, relatively speaking, but hey, it doesn't have to be like some live in-engine thing, so yeah. Maybe a little bit bouncier than they should be, but you know what? I wrangled these things for so long, I will gladly just take it. Alright. We've got this weird... I don't even know what this is supposed to be. It's a little bit hard to read detail on this guy as well. This almost looks like we just go up and then immediately in. Then almost like up, then in. Then up a solid amount. Maybe a little bit too much. Bring it back out. Up a solid amount. Then back in. A little bit more than was before. A decent amount more than before. So weird. Not as far out as it was. We're kind of starting to like taper. Let me push it up, but then we start to get a little bit of like a curve as well. So you kind of like this almost. Like it is, but it also isn't. I would almost rather just. Also, what even is this top? Just like a dome, I guess? I guess. Sure, we'll call it that. Sure. Eh. Why did I get the feeling that this one's getting copyrighted? Once I'm done pivoting over to Spotify, I'm just gonna go ham on building out playlists, getting some fresh stuff in. And some of the stuff I'm not actually sure if people would like would be good for streaming. Goddamn, don't like it. I guess ideally speaking, let's just cut hemisphere. Let's cut too much of a hemisphere. Actually, we need that. We're gonna do this the way God intended. Between two circles. Boom. God's dead. Alright. I think that's all it really needs to be. I don't think there's a whole lot of detail to read here. Maybe some kind of like a little bit of texturing info, but eh. This is going to be so far out of the shot, so far in the distance that who cares? And we have this whole... Whoa. There we are. It's almost like a cathedral piece. Just grab one of those spires out and just stick it on. No, but it'd be funny. I would almost be scared to look at those. It's been so like I've just changed my modeling. Ooh. Oh, hi. Do inform me as to what is going on here exactly. I get the feeling that these are definitely not flush. Fun. What is this, like, extreme disorientation I'm suddenly getting? And where's the base grid? Like, I didn't do any rotating on this, so I'm not sure why we're suddenly, like, so far off axis, and then it's just not snapping in some weird ways like we should. Like, I don't know, we can't just get on this. Oh, how long have we been on transform constraint? That's actually... I'm hoping that didn't screw up any geo too bad. I almost just want to mass undo just to... that's... Wait, that's actually a perfectly fine spot for the history to die off. Make sure we're in the right transform constraint. Let's... Yeah. Uh-huh. It also means that this is... We chose the wrong axis, but you know what? That's okay. This kind of has more of a rounded square shape suddenly. Not really sure how that happened, considering we legitimately just started from a square with, or from a cylinder with no adjustments. And I guess we just made some, but like... Also, where is the... Wait, what are you doing? Well, let me zoom out to give you some context. It's kind of in pieces, which is generally how I go about tackling things. I mean, pull this apart. But, God, I don't know why this has to be so weird about rotation. Oh, is it just... Okay, it's really is. This looks somewhat familiar. I mean, this is the GAC table. Imagine this being down here, this being a full table, and being more up here. And we have this... I don't think I actually looked at this as a whole. They kind of keep it together. I think it's actually a bit too wide still. Yeah. Let's pull that a little bit. But yeah, to give you an actual answer, I'm making the Holotable room from scratch in 3D to serve as a background for my GAC tool for the GAC videos. Because we have that done pretty much in all of its glory, all it needs to be. But then we've got crippling emptiness. It's either floating black or it's this blurry bar background that's really not doing it for me. So yeah, it's kind of... This was like... Eh. But like, if we're getting up here, you really... It's just not... It's not getting it done. So, you know, just... Making something a bit better, hopefully. Hopefully better. For all I know, this might look janky, but if it's all done correctly, you know, we'll have everything in position around the table, hopefully emulating somewhat close to the actual, you know, you got like stage here, stage here. Question was also why? I guess literally it's just because I can. I mean, because I think it'll look good. I think it'll make the video better. But yeah. Next series is going to be Grand Arena 101. I had this table modeled and pretty much, let's call it like 90% done since February. And then I had this, which this wasn't nearly as much work, but getting the flag physics actually kind of was. Done since last year, so it seemed an extreme waste not to make use of them, and I'm pretty content with how the table model worked out. So yeah, just I don't know. Like if I nail the presentation with everything, it can make a fine portfolio piece as well. So certainly a possibility I will gladly take if it works out. Oh, I was not on desktop view. Yeah, you can see, I never understood. This almost looks like a clock or something. But yeah, you can see, like, the stage. It's in a much simpler view. They probably need to exaggerate the slant a little bit more. I think I should do that fairly easily. Somewhat sloppy way to do this. But yeah, I mean, the ultimate answer to why is because I think and or hope it'll make a pretty kick-ass video. But also, it's not even just for the series intro. It's actually just how I want to go about the series is by having... God, I really at least might as well toss in the Ray animated PNG so it at least gets the point across a little bit better. But to have, you know, think about how I normally present slides and then think of them in more of like a floating hologram over a GAC table style graphic like ESPN motion graphics. I think it's not that much more work to implement, and I think will look pretty slick. Yeah, just poking away. Oh god, please. If you compare, this is really kind of like a more aggressive slant we got going here. We could just go for it. I feel like it's gonna look weird regardless of how I try to like meter it out. It's such an aggressive angle. It feels really wrong seeing it in Maya. Like, we're talking like that degree of... Like, every instinct that I have is like, nah, bring it down, like, push it back in. Like, the in-game reference almost feels like too much, but I guess it is more of a stagely shape this way. But yeah, just doing some art streams, hanging out. Yeah, that's... That's about closer. Kind of before and after. I kind of want to bring this back down. Let's kind of bring it together. Yeah, sure, we can take that, duplicate it. We can keep this as a print of the original as well, just in case changing my mind. Sure. Yeah, I think that presents it a little bit better. A bit more accurate. And yeah, you've got like... Kind of stops about here. In this area here. But you're kind of like pushing into the bar area here. But just because of the nature of the variety of shots that I have, which let me hit this just to... So the music doesn't sound all crazy when it's like jumping around. You know, we're hitting shots from different angles, different sides here, so I don't know. All the background needs to do here is be passable, just to like hold up. I don't really. If people want to like pause it and zoom in and be like, "Wow, look at how bad this looks," like, you know what? Sure, that's fine. I don't think most people are gonna do that. I don't think that's what it needs to be. So just yeah. I guess at some point we also just have to start laying out the room, right? Because I'm extremely lazy and because the camera shots are already blocked out, we actually have, like, the GAC table has to stay at 0 in the world, which is kind of funny. But, so we legitimately are just going to have to position everything else, what, call it canonically, around it. So, like, technically even we have to, like, rotate the worlds to fit GC table a little bit. So GC is kind of angled towards the stage. I guess we can get like pedestal and like whatever these even are. So that's what we were kind of doing before we got sidetracked. Let's see, we can just grab this, slap it in the rough. Pretty basic shape. Normally don't worry about keeping everything as one object, but I guess in this case it doesn't really do much harm to since it's already here. You might as well just grab and drag. Start with the basic. Bring it up out here. We can just block out the shapes and then adjust it as need be. So we've got this pushing out a bit. A little bit more. It's a very weird shape, actually, now that I'm looking at this a little bit more. Huh. It's gonna be kind of like, it's not straight up, but... Alright, so I got this. I think it's actually a little bit too tapered off. We need to, like, bring it back up and in a little bit. Returning back here, kind of have like a triple layer deal going on. I think what's going on here is gonna be something along the lines like this and that. Let's do this just so the TVs aren't blinding. This looks to be pretty high up here, and then this one gets a little bit more room. Then we do the same. I think this is actually even higher up. Like, you can really barely see it. And sure. That's about that. I think this is maybe a little bit too extra down here. And yeah, the whole thing is a little bit too big technically, so we can just... Like, it's hard to get it relative to the tables, but yeah, it's like... It's about the same height, so you really just need it to be about kind of here-ish. Get off of. Back to the comfy rough.
It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job.
It's this song again. Yeah, we get it. Man, this playlist doesn't have as much as I remember it having. What's over here? This is mostly just the same one as the stream, but with some of the slow songs removed. Which... I mean, yeah... You know what? I was gonna hit an album. Why not? We're here. Sure. I think that seems functional. God, these crates are so low poly, I almost feel guilty for just... Like, if we just copy the actual Geo, this is legitimately just gonna be like... Oh no. Alright, you ready for this? Oh yeah, crate's done. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't wanna tarnish. Boom. I mean, we could do a little bit of quick flavor detail. Why not? to about there, but then we also want to pull up. I'd say we'll push it up a little bit even further. And it's all kind of depressed in a bit. And then again. If we really want to do it. First things first. I think this is literally just... Which, yeah, fair enough. Actually, I don't think we do it first. Okay. This is just gonna be a lot of arbitrary face cutting, I guess. Weird. Okay. Technically, we got this whole weird, like, implied indentation. So we actually want to give some not quite extra life, but just a little something. This actually needs to actually be like fully duplicated first for it to like do the thing we need it to do. So that when we do this, you know, I didn't actually know that the selection was gonna stay for all of them through the combine and merge. That is ridiculously convenient. Okay, sure. I should technically need to have these as well, but you know, why not? And then you just kind of I think it's a little bit too much, but probably have to do some fairly significant cleanup as well. But all that matters is that the edges, because they're merged, are actually like pushing it in a way that like when we break it down to like have it be modular again. If this was just an exposed edge, the edge would not be in this ideal angle shape. So yeah, so that's probably enough. Alright, then we just I don't remember which one was the real one, but I don't think I think we just use this one. I'm not sure one of these didn't. I'm not sure why this one went weird, but yeah, I guess it's all kind of the same. Judging my approach on the cube, it's actually probably this guy, so just... Actually, we could just duplicate it just in case. Sure. And then, last but not least, we get to do the extremely basic original thing. I guess technically speaking, we could actually just... We could have just tossed it in a layer, but, I mean, who does that? I guess we want to actually homogenize the edges. We do have to do a little bit of clean up. Which I don't think any of these edges are even actually flush right now. Oh no, they totally are. We just snapped on the wrong one. Okay. Kind of a weird lip that we got going on here. Oh, what's up, Savitar? Mystery, sorry. I need to get Chad in a more visible position. Yeah, Mystery, this is going to be... not the focus. Well, this stuff is going to be the focus. This is the set dressing. This is the focus. Let me unhook the camera so I can fly like a bird. Yeah. It's a big, old, functional GAC table. Complete with a whole unfurl. Then everything is gonna... Ideally, all the GAC series videos, at least a lot of the talking points, you know, just to help illustrate, have an actual board to be able to work with and highlight, like, what zones you want to work with, for what, for where, what considerations you have, which you attack first. Yeah, it's just... I think it's going to be a good next level type of progression compared to slides over a chalkboard, which has kind of been the standard lately. This is actually a lot of the same techniques for the video intro I made and used in a lot of my early videos, like GG301. But yeah, we're making crates. High octane crate gameplay. Actually, making crates is like a super common thing to do at game dev studios. It's kind of funny, but I mean, those crates aren't gonna open themselves. I guess technically speaking, all we have to do is like that, and then that. This is a really janky way to go about modular. I mean, hey, if the math works, it works. Isn't this the like the old one, the weird one? I want this. Let's just like move. Alright, so we can just pop that. Alright. I feel like we classed up the crate a little bit here. We kind of took some of the texture detail and tried to make it real. I guess technically, if this is being accurate, this isn't here. But I mean, do we care that much? It's not going to be that hard to move, I guess. We just grab the thing first, unify it all, and just start taking a hacksaw and just be gone, be gone. Is this outer one still gone? I think it is. Like, you can kind of see some shading, but I think that might just actually just be the texture detail. Or how hard is it to cut the corners now and change it later if you feel like? I mean, corner cutting isn't just like how to make something and just like getting it done quickly. It's not that hard to like botch something simple. Like if you're coming in late, this is probably the most ramshackle way that I've made something ever. But this shape is also just ridiculously hard to like get correctly if it's all gonna be visible. So I got like, I was gonna say 60% of the way through this shape. 60 is extremely generous. This is like a 30%. We got like this front part in the general ballpark, and then just kind of fudged it. Like it's not even together, but like it's not visible to the camera, so kind of who cares. But yeah, so technically true for a game as well, but especially because this is a video where we decide where the camera goes. I don't know why I keep on saying we, where I decide where the camera goes. A lot of this stuff, they can kind of just, you can cut plenty of corners and get away with it, and people will never know. Some of this stuff, like if it is technically visible in the background, people could like pause it and pick it out, but like, you know what? That's their prerogative, right? Herbie doesn't get to pick. You know what? If he feels like it, more power to him. Yeah. Ooh. Why are we in component mode? There we go. I am looking at this now and realizing we are in some weird end-gun territory. So we almost need to like take this, cut this down the middle, just go in, get rid of this. Have to do the same here. Some slight degree. We technically don't actually have to do this twice. We could just like do it to one side and duplicate down the middle, but that's just too practical. Alright, and then we do that. And we... Oh, this is it. Okay, we get this back. Okay. Alright, we don't need... You know what, sir? Alright. It's somewhat tragic that Galaxy Heroes comes up so early. I mean, I could just use this. We're doing this. I'm not stopping. God, let's say we took some liberties. Alright, let me orient myself. I think it was... These two were the real ones. Okay. there's no real reason for this lip to exist out here. We can just... Yeah, this is kind of unnecessary. It's not actually causing problems, it's just weird. Just give this a solid 20 seconds to run. This doesn't need to be there. God, there's so much easy cleanup to do right here. This is not going to read well for stream, shall we say. Say there's a refuse critter? I have no idea what this is. This is... I mean, look. Sometimes games just need crates. Crates in games is like a rite of passage. So... why not? Quick and easy to make anyway. Actually, looking at this, there is kind of like an indent down here that I have not done yet at all yet. So I guess I could just... Fine. Noticing detail. Who does that? Alright, off to the races. Let's just... gonna have to do this from scratch the right way. This is final. Once this is done, this is just staying in the scene until I'll have to reposition it once everything from Maya is in, but... Oh god, why is this taking so long? I guess it's not actually that bad. Okay. Moving along. Why is it being cranky? Sure. That's about all it really demands, I think. Got a little bit of a lip shadow. We've got more cleaning to do. The seam down the middle is really not necessary anymore. Alright, this is fairly cleaned up. I get the feeling that there are just so many... Oh god, I think my computer is just kind of overloading. Okay. Whew. You know what, you are 100% right. That is not correct at all. I don't know why I thought it was. It looked good in the moment, let's say. Anything else? No. Just look. I get it. Okay. That is a fairly appropriate. Great. Why are you being weird? What even just happened? Yes, we actually just don't duplicate on axis, we just rotate. That's fine. And then, now that we've got this done, we don't need lines anymore. After Effects is almost done. Oh god, we actually totally still need... Alright, come back. We actually need two of you. Fine. Okay. Now we should be comfy. Also, I don't know why, but suddenly the merge function has gotten like crazy sensitive about distance, even though it's like 2 world scale. Can't really see anything weird happening this time around, but believe me. Just to be paranoid. Oh god, we never did the weird fin thing. I really can't even tell what the shape is. God, 60-minute render just for Gar Saxon. Man is too powerful. See, the skill is appropriate. That should be about half height. Sure. God, my computer is taking an absolute beating right now from all the programs doing stuff. Rendering and streaming, and we got Unreal and After Effects and Maya and an emulator running. It's just a party. Oh god, I actually need to start doing arena climbing soon. Alright, T minus 2 minutes to Gar Saxon. I guess I should just hook up Unreal. Oh god, we're chugging. We are absolutely chugging. And the worst part about streaming has to be that I can't have fans on. So my computer is running it's like probably 60 to 65 Celsius right now. It's actually just acting as a room heater. Yep. Woo! Thing's a radiator right now. I really need to dust that thing out too. It's probably not doing me any favor in the room heat department right now. I would not be surprised if the stream is just like dropping mad frames. No, 0 still. Rock solid. Even while everything else is starting to catch fire. We really shouldn't have just done like a whole 20-second Gar Saxon render, but you know, we're here to deliver excellence in our shit posting. I won't have anything less. You know, just I won't have anything because it's not fucking happening. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. I have no idea why this is taking so long. Oh. How nice of you to show up finally. Alright, so we just need this. I don't even know if it's keeping up with everything I just did. The moment that After Effects finishes, it's just gonna be like a rubber band. It's gonna be slingshotted forward and like processor speed. It's gonna be glorious. As if on cue. Alright, yeah. Hey, wow, look, I can press buttons and stuff actually happens. Who would have thought it? Not me. Alright. Now we point this here. 60 FPS shitposting only. Remember that part where I said it was gonna be fast now? That was funny. Right, let's get out of here. I think it's just After Effects eating up so much of the... No. Please go away. It's thinking real hard about how much it wants to not go away. Boy, don't make me sick task manager on you. Nothing gets in the way of my shit posting. There we go. There's the boy. Alright. Promising start. Why did I hit X? So technically this isn't gonna work fully the way it should because we need to do a second pass with it being in black and white. I'm not in the mood to boot After Effects back up while trying to stream. That's not, why are we still so laggy? This is so unnecessary. This isn't gonna be as good looking of an effect as it will be for Ray, I think, just by virtue of skipping a step or two, but... Alright. The shiny boy's a bit too shiny. He must be controlled. And... I mean... Is indeed. It still has the same issue, and like the way that this will be done ideally, like you get the whole. I mean, set this to loop, I guess, while we're here. Like you can see the boots kind of just vanish. But I mean, hey, as advertised. A picture of Mr. Saxon in the flesh. I mean, just like character pictures themselves are all fine and dandy, but needs you know, the actual information and slides to actually like mean anything rather than just being like a Also, I don't know if I can like force it to happen, but I actually really like when the effect is like struggling to keep up with the camera, the Ray picture kind of like gets some weird distortion. I actually kind of really like it, and I don't know how to make it do it. But yeah, I like I had to do some custom tweaking for Ray. This was just kind of a rush job, but with actually, I mean, what if we? I don't even know what Ray settings are actually. I'm assuming. Oh no, she's actually brighter. Yeah, so you can kind of see. We've got a black and white version of Ray, and then we're actually just multiplying the color against the emissive color, so it just produces a somewhat cleaner effect, if you will. Let's try, bring him to normal power levels. Oh, that's just faded, actually. That's not even... That's almost just worse. Yeah, I mean, this is just much better. Color grading wise. Especially because After Effects handles the color grading so well. We just let that do the heavy lifting, and then just take the work that After Effects does for that color grading and bring it into Engine. But yeah, it's actually all told a pretty fast process. It's more just having the pipeline built out. Alright. I've been going for a while. I think I'll probably call stuff here. I haven't really actually finished this yet, but it's not exactly going to be the most interesting thing to finish. It's basically just going to be I feels like like my computer just has like residual lag right now. Straight up. Yeah, our computer stats are actually like super fine, but still just like the program is just like, no, you made some mistakes along the way, man. You gotta pay now. Yeah, I mean, modeling, like, we can't just really, we technically can take it into engine just to like see how it plays with the camera shots, but there's what's called UV unwrapping, which I don't think is really streamable content, or at least people will find it pretty boring, I think. And then texturing, which could probably be streamed, but also I have zero idea what I'm doing. I haven't even like got the table textured in a way that looks remotely passable yet, so that's kind of the monster waiting at the end of the road that I have to defeat before everything is done. But yeah, I mean, all that's really left to model beyond like, we got like, wait, why are you not rotating suddenly? I mean, bottles. Bottles are super easy to do. Liquid inside of bottles, actually very, very difficult. Like, surprisingly very difficult to make it, to do it in a way that doesn't look terrible. So I'm almost tempted to just not try. Otherwise, it's going to turn into this whole, like, study in, like, glass rendering, and just, it really doesn't need to happen. Right? You can just make some basic mug shapes. Takes, I've done it before, it takes, like, legit 5 minutes. Like a thermos. It's super easy. I mean, heck, we could even just repurpose this. Actually, I would not be surprised if CG did that as well. If you were on a deadline, right? This is largely the same shape. You just, given the different number of faces, they actually probably had to do it manually. But you can see the similarities. Wouldn't be too hard to bring it all together. But yeah. Alright. I'm gonna get out of here. I got arena to do and stuff, and I'm sweating my butt off. Alright. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. There's your Gar Saxon shitpost for the evening. I'm sure he'll be tucked in somewhere permanently. He could be behind the bar, actually. I think that seems appropriate. Sure, why not? CG actually legit does have, like, not holograms, but just, like, borderline cardboard cutouts, or, like, whatever. This, to me, looks just like a picture of a dude. Which, like, I mean, that's the thing, right? It doesn't have to be, like, an actual full 3D model. It just has to be, like, kind of there. Your eye kind of, like, sees it, doesn't really take it in, doesn't really... Like, it's not the focal point, right? I'm actually almost surprised that they bothered to put it in. Right? Because, like, you're getting hit with this. You really do not have to care about anything else here. Yeah. Alright, let's get out of here. Galaxy Heroes is screaming at me. Alright. Peace out.